start everything up. So it's the 18th February 2019, Monday, 6:56 p.m. Two questions initially. What brings you to Latvia and what are your impressions?
About Latvia, because I never been here, and here is kind of east north of Europe. It's very attractive in my opinion because long time ago I heard in Latvia you have the most beautiful lady here in the world. So
Really?
yeah,
Who told you that?
I watched it from the YouTube. They have a rank. So Latvia is like a top 1 or top 2.
All right.
And today, I just walk around and I see it's kind of truth because most of the people are beautiful. Not only the women, but also the men. They are also quite handsome and very tall, with blonde hair as well.
Have you been to Scandinavia?
Yeah, I was in Norway for 1 month, Sweden for 1 month, and Denmark for several days, and I just back from Finland.
And what's the situation there?
I don't think in my opinion, I don't think the women are attractive, but the men are handsome. They are like from movie.
Interesting. Yeah. So
Especially like Norway and Sweden. But I think in Finland, they're no, they're kind of fat. I don't know why.
well, some of them are similar to the Swedes. They somehow mix.
Yeah,
So,
maybe because of the history. I remember like 500 years, Finland was conquered by Swedish people, and then Russian took it.
Yeah. So wait a second. What brings you to Latvia is just you are looking for women?
No, I just want to travel to this country, and I'm thinking about a PhD program. So I come here and I went to the University of Latvia. I just checked that university's half hour ago, and I think it's quite very beautiful and kind of academic. I think in Germany, like my university or other university I've already been is not as beautiful as this one here.
So where do you study in Germany?
I study Master of Landscape Architecture.
Landscape architecture, does that mean you trim trees?
No, we design like architecture. They design kind of building, single building. But as landscape architect, you should design residential area. You should design garden, and
But not the building.
not building. Building is for the architect, and interior design is for the interior designer.
But why is it called landscape architect? Shouldn't it be called landscape designer?
Yeah, it could be, but because landscape designer, they are kind of like a student of art. But if you are a student of landscape architecture, you also could do kind of broaden, like environmental evaluation and environmental planning. And at that scale, you use GIS, geology information system. You are kind of like a planner. You are not like a designer. But
what is the goal for you to have a beautiful landscape or to have a useful landscape, functional landscape?
yeah, I think for designer is for a beautiful one. But for architect, landscape architect, they focus on the function more than the beauty.
Because it's kind of hard to imagine. What would you do? And who would be your client?
It depends on the scale. If you do some residential area project, like the architect, they have already designed the building. So they need some landscape architect to design the outdoor space. So
You mean like
the garden?
A courtyard in
Yeah. In Europe, you could be like courtyard, but in China, all the residential areas are very big. Many people live there, many skyscrapers, and so it's very big place you need to design for.
I recently saw a video clip on YouTube that showed that in China they are building high buildings and trains are going in the middle of them.
Yeah.
So the train tracks
Yeah.
are going through buildings.
Go through the buildings.
Through buildings. Let's say you have a 20-story high building, and from the 10th till the 14th floor, in the middle there's a hole, and just trains going through.
Okay, I don't know that one, but I know my uncle, where he live, in their residential area, they have a small train. Just go around, take him to this part, to another part of the residential area, the community, because that community is really big, very huge.
The proportions are different for Chinese people. So what is huge for you would be probably gigantic for me, right?
Yeah, I think maybe the residential area from like where my uncle live, maybe it's just like the scale of the old town here. Or
Maybe. I mean, look at it this way. A little bit under 2 million people live in Latvia. That's a small village in China, right?
2 million.
That's a small village in China.
It's a
Or maybe a
county.
small town.
Yeah, it could be a town. Like even in my city, we have over 500 people, 500 million people. 5 million people. You have 2 million,
Yeah.
so we have 5 million. Yeah.
So what's the city?
The city right now I live in, it's called Guiyang. It's a capital city in Guizhou province. It's kind of southwest of China, and
Southwest.
it's close to Sichuan. Sichuan.
Which region was the most economically advanced? The south of China or the north of China?
I think south along the coast.
Along the coast.
Shanghai, Zhejiang, Jiangsu, that part.
So you're more closer to them, right?
I lived there before because my grandparents are from Shanghai, but
And the capital is Beijing.
capital is Beijing,
Yeah.
but it's like a political city.
What
But-
does that mean?
Because government is in Beijing, so the city is focused on the politics about the government issue, about
But do they
cultural.
do they affect all the other provinces?
You mean other? What do you mean?
I mean, you, for instance, you live in your province.
Yeah,
and
right now.
you say Beijing is the political center. Do they affect you? Or do you live in your province as in a separate country almost?
No, of course they in fact affect me a lot.
No, because I mean, for Indian people, for instance, they usually say that India is not even a country. They usually say it's more like 30 countries inside one border.
Yeah, I heard that, and their government can't control the people. The government don't have the power to control the people. But in China, it's different. The government is really powerful. They can control.
Do you really believe that? I mean, with the technology, with the 21st century technology, you guys are pretty much free, right? You can do what you like.
But as
maybe you need to be a little bit more sneaky sometimes, but other than that, I mean, you have the internet, you have communications, you have everything.
Yeah.
It's not like they could cut you off.
Yeah, right now they still allow the people to use VPN. After we use VPN, we can use YouTube, we can use like WhatsApp, Facebook in China, but they already kind of control it. Maybe in the future,
is it even possible to control it? I mean, with the
they
Chinese,
are doing it right now.
Because I think the Chinese produce the most hackers in the world, right?
Yeah, but
so it's like self-defeating prophecy.
But
to try to control Chinese people who are the biggest hackers in the world, just doesn't make sense.
But they have a rule. Like I heard last month, if you use VPN and the government find you, you will be fined. You will be punished.
Well, if you mean just that you have to pay some money, it's not the big deal, right?
It depends on how much we need to pay for that.
How much is it?
Let me think about it. It's like 500 euro,
which would be almost half of a salary, right?
It depends on the city. Like in Shanghai, it could be the half month of the salary. But if you are from West, maybe 1 month's the average salary is around 500 euro in total.
It's a full month salary then.
Yeah, it depends on where you live, and the living cost in the Farmer West is lower, much lower than in Shanghai. Shanghai is
why? For the same product?
the same products. Yeah.
How come? Then everybody would be living in the West, right?
No, but in the West, they are undeveloped. They are all developing, but they don't have so good infrastructure.
Yeah.
So the people, and they don't have so much working opportunities. So they prefer to live along the coast.
I think that's a little bit strange to say, right? Because I think China has so much things to do, right? Because they are full on developing, right? China is full on developing, just building, trying to expand, export, to produce. It's just it seems that there is no real problem with finding a job. So it's at least I perceive it that way when I look at news.
Yeah, somehow, but Chinese people, like the government, they don't build so many real estate the buildings.
Wait a second, I thought they produced almost too much buildings.
Right now, they don't do that.
Really?
Yeah, they don't do that so much as before. They more think about the environmental issue more than before. Like the Xi Jinping, the president, and just have a new policy or change the focus about the environmental pollution. That's why now landscape architect or environment evaluation specialist, they can have a better job opportunity, because in my bachelor I study environmental science. Yeah. So we always to think about the environmental issue in China, and we can see in China they are think about the pollution problems. They want to do more the same as the Western world, because you can see in Western world they have less air pollution, the road is more tidy, clean, and the less crowded. Yeah, the road, the path.
Oh, really?
I think
I somehow thought that the roads, when they are built, that they are built bigger and quite well more efficient, I would say. At least that's what I thought. Because I thought that you guys still build the roads with a sense of universal use. That they are not just for cars; they are for what's it called, those motorbikes, for maybe even small airplanes. I somehow thought that you still build like that, because it used to be the case that in, for instance, Soviet Union, they built big roads with thinking that maybe someday a plane would have to use it as well.
Okay.
So they build it wider, more stable, everything like that.
I think China right now, they still think about like a walkable residential area. It's kind of because as urban planner, we learned some theory. If the people want to easily to go to work and go home and to buy the grocery in small zones, they can walk to everywhere. It's like limited the pollution, because in America you have to drive your car to everywhere, like to work, to buy things, so it's already produce a lot of air pollution. So Chinese government or the urban planner, they think we shouldn't follow what American people do, so they want to don't build so wide road. They just the small paths. It's very cozy for the people to walk to the grocery and to go back home. That's the idea right now. Just a small community.
Yeah, sounds good. Because I think some professors one day figured out that if China would like to live as the Americans live, that we would need 3 or 4 planets. Just because the resources that they consume wouldn't be sustainable if China would like to do the same, and for those billions of people.
Yeah, I think China somehow learn a lot from America.
Hmm?
And I think Chinese people really learn a lot from America so far.
You mean culturally?
No, technology, like the politic, and most of the thing. In the past
Well,
time,
technology-wise, I think American companies come to China, right? They come with their technology to China to produce more efficiently and then sell back the end product to the West again, right?
I think they have a factory in China. They give the they hire the Chinese people in China because they can pay less money for the workers.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because the know-how is there, the labor is cheaper,
Yeah.
and then the end product is just you have a higher profit margin.
German people also do that for the car.
You mean that
They have a produce like the
they produce
factory.
in China?
Yeah, produce in China and then send back to Germany.
Yeah,
and then
I think all big companies do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that whether or not at one point Chinese companies will do the opposite. That's the question. Whether or not Chinese companies will start to produce outside of China.
Yeah, they do.
Now? Or probably in neighboring countries then, right?
I think they do that in Africa. Like Africa countries could be the future China, and China could be the future Europe and America. That's how it works. Because when I went to Africa,
That would be so funny. What would Chinese people do? And I've heard of Chinese investing in Africa, but I didn't understand in what. Probably just resources, land.
We in China we also have a scholarship for the African people. Like if the people are kind of excellent, they could come to China to study,
All right.
and somehow they are talented. So in the future they could be the intelligent power for build China in the future maybe. And we also have many technology company in Africa. I don't know other countries, but in Morocco I went there. I saw many Chinese technology company there.
Morocco is somehow in between, right? And I mean, it's not really full on China, Africa.
Okay.
It's I think it culturally still has some European in them, African in them, and probably just some island mixed in the middle.
Yeah, I think you are right.
I would guess that at one point, you know what would be interesting if China would go into Saudi Arabia or the Middle East. That would be interesting.
For what?
I don't know, to produce, to build, to manufacture something. Because nowadays,
But they are so rich. They don't.
well, but that's the problem. They are rich not because they are smart. They are rich because they have oil.
Yeah.
And
Norway also have oil.
China.
Norwegian.
Yeah,
people.
no, well, Norway, sure, but
Sweden.
they do it more socially.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
They try to distribute their wealth. As
Yeah.
far as I know.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it's quite comfortable to live in Norway if you are a Norway citizen.
Yeah.
Norwegian citizen.
They're kind of like a communist country.
Well, a real socialist country.
Oh yeah, socialism.
They have big income from oil, and then they just, I don't know what they do, but as far as I know, they distribute the wealth. It's not that since everything is state owned with the oil companies, so the population gets some benefits.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same in Alaska, in America.
Okay.
They get just, I don't know, let's say they get 1,000 euros per month,
Mm-hmm.
just because you live in Alaska, and they export oil.
So great. In China we don't have that because we have so
Well,
many
you are
population.
Too many people.
Yeah, that's the point.
Too many people. But then again, you have a big workforce. Nobody can mess with such a big workforce. And as I said, you have for the 21st century, it seems that China has the biggest potential for hacking, right? You have the biggest IT specialists, right? So who could actually try to control those people? Really nobody.
Interesting, huh?
But wouldn't you say that at one point in time some Chinese hackers will figure out how to control the controlling government?
No,
I think so.
No,
I think so.
no.
Everything will get more digital. Everything will be more attached to technology. And then at one point, some Chinese radicals will just flip the switch. I think so. Because I don't believe that the current government. I don't know anybody of them, right? But I don't know whether or not they even understand how email works, right? Because they are the old generation.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not the people who were raised with computers.
Mm-hmm.
You are the generation who was brought up with computers, with VPN, with smartphones, right? So, yeah, give it 5 years and, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say, maybe. Interesting. But I think if
it seems logical.
If it's any day the hacker were found by the government, they will just be shut down. It's the first place.
I don't know. Because I would imagine those days are long gone.
Uh-huh.
Well, those violent days. I mean, because I think that you, as you said, you have some influence from America for the West, right? Yeah. And it will still continue. So
yeah,
it's just
because we learned from Soviet Union for a long time, and it's not working well.
I don't know about that.
Because you can see Russia is big and China is also big, and we're like close countries, and they helped us during the Second World War and after that. So we're kind of like the friend countries. But then Chinese government realized Russia is not a real. Even the economic situation maybe is not as good as in China right now. I don't know. So they think they should learn more from America, from European countries.
Actually, South Korea, right?
South Korea.
Probably South Korea.
You mean China learn from South Korea?
Yeah.
South Korea learn from Western countries. Japanese people learn from Western countries.
Yeah, but they apply it in South Korea, and what were the other ones?
Singapore, Malaysia,
right? Malaysia, and all those. They are really, really advanced, right?
No, only Singapore and Korea and Japan. That's all. Singapore is kind of tiny, but it's very advanced. Mm-hmm. It's like one of the most developed country all over the world, I can say. And Japan also developed. South Korea is also not as developed as Singapore and Japan, but yeah, it's compared to China, it's more advanced.
And which would be the most advanced region in China? Taiwan or Hong Kong?
No, not on any of them.
Beijing?
I think Shanghai.
Shanghai?
Yeah, Shanghai.
But Shanghai is just a port city, right?
It's a port city, but it's kind of like economic center, and it's very economic center, and also very multicultural international city. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and it's high technology.
I thought Hong Kong was the international city. I thought in Hong Kong you can live without knowing Chinese, because everybody can speak English.
Yeah, because it was a part of Britain.
Yeah. In
1990, but after 1990 it come back a part of China, so the policy
but it's
kind of already
right?
changed.
It's still different from China, right?
Yeah, somehow, because like Hong Kongese people, if they come to China, like mainland of China, they need to have a kind of passport, and the Chinese people in the mainland, they also need a kind of passport to go to Hong Kong, and the Western people, they come to Hong Kong, they don't need a visa, right?
You mean like I would
yeah.
I would be able to just go?
Yeah, you can go to Hong Kong without visa for 3 months, but if you want to go to the mainland of China, you have to apply for a visa. So it's different, as you said. We have a government policy. We said one country, two system. The system is for Macau, for Hong Kong.
Where is Macau?
Macau is it was a colony by Portuguese people, and it's in the south of China. It's
like Hong Kong.
It's like Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It's very famous for gambling. It's like Chinese Las Vegas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow I remember hearing something about Chinese Las Vegas.
Yeah, Macau. It came back.
So what does that mean? That they just do whatever they want in Macau?
No, because they only have gambling. Gambling is the most important.
But in the rest of China? What about the rest of China?
Rest of China.
They don't have gambling?
They are not as big as Macau.
Huh.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it would be... That's a city, right? Macau.
Yeah, that was a country. When it was under the control of Portuguese people, it's like a Portuguese colony.
And when was that?
What do you...
When?
Until 1990. Or
good.
maybe even earlier. I forget.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Hong Kong and Macau. Taiwan are also a part of China. You know.
Well, it's sort of different. I think when you ask Taiwanese people, they, as far as I can tell, they consider themselves pretty autonomous.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you ask Chinese people, no, just China.
Just
China.
That is a province of China.
What's the question? Just China. Right. So I think it's funny because those type of scenarios, they are all over the place. They are all over the world. I mean, in almost every country you can find a region that's sort of in the same country, but then again they are a little bit different, and then have history together and separate. It's nothing original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know the history about Taiwan? Why it is like a country, you know?
Well, the history of Taiwan was related to the fact that, as far as I can tell, after the Second World War, there were some
civil
generals
war.
who wanted to get into power, and then the one army fought against another army.
Yeah.
One was for the nationals, I guess, and the other one...
国民党.
Yeah, doesn't ring a bell for me. 国民党.
国民党 is like the party in Taiwan.
I thought they
used
an abbreviation for one of those, like RAP or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
I checked Wikipedia. They just say 国民党.
Interesting. All right. So
and the Chinese Communism Party. That's it too.
All right. So two fractions, and then the one got the upper hand. Then they retreated to the region of Taiwan. But they still considered themselves the legitimate government of China. And then up until 1970 or something like that, even the United Nations considered them the government of China. But then Nixon made some deals with the others in China, and then they switched it. And they don't consider Taiwan a separate nation anymore, and they consider mainland China with the government. As the officially.
Okay.
That's as far as I remember.
Huh. But you see from Coach Surfing, if any Taiwanese people, they like show where they are from, they just say Taiwan, a province of China. Right?
I think it's because they just classify it in the portal, in the website. Okay. I think so.
Okay.
I don't think they write themselves. They just choose from a drop down list.
Yeah, but like from the company of Coach Surfing, they still think Taiwan is the province of China, right?
Well, think about it this way: the United Nations has 196 or something like that members, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you ask ethnographers and historians, they will tell you that the world has around probably 2,000 countries, right? So,
okay.
Because it's the same in Russia. I mean, Dagestani people consider themselves a republic, even though that's totally in Russia, right? But they speak Russian as well. But yeah, they consider themselves a separate country almost.
Hmm.
So it's all over the place. Every big country has regions where the people in those regions consider themselves separate.
But do you think why Taiwan is still could be as a country so far? Even China has so powerful military. If America is not there, they already become a part of China, officially.
I don't think it's really important. What's the difference between having your own flag or being under another flag? I don't see a big difference.
Which country? That's a kind of humanity that people always want. Kind of a greedy. They want the thing. They want everything generally. If it is possible, like German people want to conquer the world, the Soviet Union want to conquer the world, the Chinese people want to conquer the world. That's a humanity. So
Well,
we want to get a
maybe-
bigger land,
Maybe up until the 21st century, but I don't think that's the case in the 21st century anymore. Because think about people you know and you meet every day, right? How much aggressive are they? Not really much, right? Because they can they can vent their aggression on the internet. I would say so. Because the communication and entertainment possibilities have never been so abundant. Nowadays you can if you want you can watch comedies all day and laugh all day, right? And if you want you can scream all day and complain all day. It's really unprecedented in world history. You can guide your and control your emotions more than ever. Thanks to technology. So I don't think it really matters that much for, at least I would say so, for, let's say for Taiwanese people anymore. I mean, they have the internet, they have smartphones, they have their everyday life. Why would they bother with some politics? To participate in the Olympics? Probably not.
Okay, but I still feel Chinese people really have a long history, and we are proud of our history, and we're proud of the parts of Chinese history. We were so big, and after the modern history, especially the 100 years, we were kind of conquered by so many Western countries, and China become smaller and smaller. So, as we want China could be as prosperous as before, so it's because of a historical reason. We want to get Taiwan back. We want to get the Mongolia back, and we want to get our land from the Russia part back. It's kind of like the Chinese people's spirit.
I don't see the spark in your eyes to get Mongolia back. I think you seem quite content with the way it is. I just think you have when you say we want it back, I think what you mean is the people in government want it back, right? But those people in the government are just dinosaurs. They are just old people thinking in old ways.
No, I think their thinking influence the next generation. They always
look at yourself. It's not like you would be considered old school. Right?
But if China become bigger, I can travel to more places. Like I've only been to Inner Mongolia.
But which are the countries you cannot travel right now?
I could travel right now. You mean?
Yeah.
I only could travel to 78 countries with my passport.
And which are the ones you cannot travel, and which you would like to travel? Because I don't think nobody wants to go in the middle of Africa to just find himself in the desert.
I want to go to like English-speaking countries.
Well, you can go to Australia.
No, I need to apply visa, but it's quite easy.
See?
That's because of political problem. The Chinese government they don't want many people from other countries to get in. They don't want the foreigner to come in. Maybe they're like a spy. They can see what is going on in the Chinese government, technology, everything, so they control everything.
I honestly think it's impossible to manage 1.5 billion people. I just don't think it's possible.
But Chinese people are afraid of it, so that's why they don't have so many, like, how do you say, so many contracts with other countries. Like Serbia, they could come to China without visa.
Who?
Serbia. Serbian.
What?
Kind of East European countries. Sebrian. Serbian.
Again?
Serbia. The Belgrade. You know Belgrade?
Belgrade?
Yeah, the capital city of Serbia. Serbia.
Ah.
How do you pronounce it?
You mean like in Serbia and Montenegro, right? That
Yes,
one.
Serbia. That's
okay.
countries. They don't need a visa to go to China,
Okay.
and China don't need a visa to go there, and Morocco as well.
All right.
That's North Africa, and that's all.
But now
only one country in Africa we can go there without visa, and only one country in Europe we can go without visa. How hard?
Serbia?
Serbia?
Well, but now you are in the European Union, for instance.
But I'm a student. I'm a
So?
student.
So, but you're here.
I mean,
You cannot complain.
no, it's hard. Like my parents, they cannot so easily to visit me, right? They have to go to
Well,
the
it's definitely
embassy.
expensive. It's probably really, really expensive to come from China to Germany, right?
You mean because of the airplane, the flight is quite expensive, right?
Yeah, everything's probably expensive, right? If you come that far.
Actually, I think it's not. If you fly from Shanghai to the west part of China, maybe Xinjiang province, and it's already around, like take a round trip, you have to pay like 500 euro. So the fee is like from China, from Beijing fly to Berlin, Germany.
All right.
Yeah, like what I did, I took the Ukraine airline. It's cost just like 400 euro for one way trip. If like around
To Germany.
If you
Oh, not that bad.
and the second time when I come back to China, I just pay less than 500 euro for a round trip. Back to China and from China back to Berlin.
Not
So
bad.
it's quite cheap actually.
Not bad.
I think travel in China is even more expensive than in travel in Europe, because in China you go to all the like attraction landmark, like attraction for the tourism place. You have to pay the entrance fee, but if like the old town here in China, it will always have entrance. You should pay the entrance fee. At least you should pay
Wow.
like 15 euro.
Why? Why is that? Why is that?
That's a way to earn money. And
Yeah, but that's a really, really capitalistic way of making money.
yeah, but that's a trend. That's in China, because I travel a lot. I travel to all the provinces and they do the same. But one thing is good in China, because all the museums are free. It's like education is free. Because I say generally in Europe,
But private schools are not free, right?
not free. I mean the museum is free. Yeah, only the museum is free. Private school is not free, and public school is not free as well. We have to pay 1 year for 300 euro.
Well, it's not that bad.
Uh,
You mean the university?
yeah, university.
Yeah, it's not that bad. 300 euros. We have to pay for a year, like 2,000 euros.
Oh, it's expensive, but we have three kind of universities. It depends on what about your grade in the grade of the entrance examination.
Why?
It's how to select the excellent students and normal students and bad students.
But what's the difference? If you are an excellent student, you go to an excellent university?
Then you can go first rank of university, and you don't need to pay. You just pay like around 200 euro, 300 euro for 1 year, and you can have better education system. You can have more opportunity to study abroad as exchange program. You have better professor.
But in the end, what's the difference? You are working a better job?
Yeah, when they go to
Because they don't take graduates from the lower ranked universities.
I think normally they don't. They always check your portfolio, your profile. You say, you are the rank first.
You are from the bad school. We don't take you.
Yeah, they
Like
do
that?
they do like that.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's not because we have so many people. They have to find some way how to select the elite people to work for them.
But what would happen if you guys all just started learning entrepreneurship, and then you all become businessmen? Nobody wants to work. Everybody wants to just manage. Should be fine.
No, I think if everybody want to do business, and then all the people will die because there are not so many opportunities to become a businessman.
But don't Chinese people make opportunities?
It's really hard to have a business by yourself. Like my dad, he is a businessman and he really had hard life, as I know. Yeah, it's really hard to have a business. I see so many people bankrupt because invest. And
Is it possible to go bankrupt in China?
Bankrupt?
Yeah.
It's easy.
But what is the scenario when you go bankrupt? Let's say you
invest a lot of money and you didn't get anything back.
You are getting a loan from a bank, right?
Uh-huh.
Is it possible you just get a loan from a bank for your business?
Yeah.
Then you set up shop somewhere, you try to sell something that doesn't really work out, and then nobody is really buying anymore.
But that's only for the shop. But we also have other kind of project, like what my dad did. He did some like a land developing. Just they hire some engineer or like workers to make a land flat and then build the new building.
Yeah.
So it's kind of they need the money to hire the worker to make the land. So he have to get a loan from the bank. But after that...
But the bank is private? Or is it a state bank?
It's a state bank.
So it seems like it should be free money.
Mm.
Because the state doesn't have to make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
So why not just give it the money and that's it?
They give you the money, but then like that give the money to the who work in the land, and they don't. It should be the time my dad could get the money back, but they still don't have the money.
All right. So what happens next?
What happens next? My dad have to wait until one day they can give the money to my dad, or my dad send the boss of that team to the jail.
He can do that?
Because they already have a contract, right? Like after 2 years, I already invested like 20,000, like maybe 2 million Chinese yuan for this work project, and 2 years later you should give me the money back, and you should pay for the interest for me as well. So
but where's the communism in that? That sounds like total capitalism.
So what's that? The Chinese, I think China is like capitalism and communism together.
It sounds like brutal capitalism.
No.
Sounds like brutal capitalism. I gave you the money for 2 years and you pay me back the money and plus interest.
Yeah, just a kind of business.
That's not communism.
Or,
you are disappointing me. I thought you would say he gave the money, he cannot give the money back, so he just made a gift and that's it.
No.
Why not? That would be communism. That would be nice.
Chinese have the free market strategy, like
that's weird.
30 years
like
ago.
An experiment. It sounds like an experiment. Why would you do that? If you are a big country, right? You can almost probably produce everything you need by yourself. Probably. You don't even really need to import it, some major things. I would guess.
We need. We need to get technology.
Yeah, but you have the technology already.
We don't have the best technology. We always have to learn from other countries.
Well, but at one point you will have that technology and invent your own. Then you don't need that.
But we're not at that stage right now.
Are you sure?
Sure. Really, I can see.
But what about the top-ranked universities with those excellent, great students? They should be able to study and research and to
They do it.
innovate.
They are just sent to more developed countries, the university to study.
But they have to come back, right?
Some of them will come back. Some of them they will not come back. Like one of my friend, she's from a countryside. She got a scholarship from China. I don't know if she will come back or not. Maybe she will not because she married a guy from Denmark, and she's already pregnant. And
so the baby will have two citizenships?
no, in China you only have one nationality. You choose Denmark or you choose China. You can not do as Hong Kong. So Hong Kong has a very good system. You can have two nationality in one time.
I think in most places it's the case, right?
Yeah, just not in China.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of bad.
Well,
really bad.
Then if the baby
I shouldn't see that.
Well, if the baby is born in Denmark, then they probably have easier to just take the Danish citizenship, right? I guess so.
Yeah,
then it's totally European.
Yeah, but it depends. Maybe in the future China will getting better and better. Right now it's getting better and better. And
with what, babies?
Maybe want to. Yeah, I don't know. Denmark somehow is the most the developed country. Maybe he don't want it. He don't. I think the baby want to live in Denmark.
Well, I mean, I think Danish. I think there was what's it called? Some statistics. The happiest people on the planet, and I think it's, the first two places were always taken either by Norwegians or Danish people.
Yeah, Norwegian people maybe.
Yeah, I think they are place one and two, and then they just switch maybe. I think they were the first ones.
Yeah,
the
so
top ranked.
According to what you said, her baby will just live in Denmark.
I suppose so.
But Chinese government give her the scholarship to change her life. If she couldn't get a scholarship from China, she couldn't go to Copenhagen University for the PhD program, right? So if I were her, definitely in the future I should come back to China and to teach next generation and just to contribute for my country, for my society. Because without our government, I'm nothing. Because of my government, I can't achieve the goals.
Well, that's why I asked you. Doesn't she have an obligation to come back? But because usually when you have
she has obligation. She has to go back to China to teach 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But I mean, after that, she will not, right?
Well,
I think.
Yeah, but
if I were her, I would just choose live in Denmark.
Well, but
if I have the opportunity, really, I would like to live in Germany for some years.
That's what I wanted to say. Well, you are now living in Germany.
Yeah, I like here. I like Berlin, because the city where I live in China is not it's not so big, and it's not so international.
Only 5 million, right?
Yeah, only 5 million people. It's not so multicultural.
And Riga is around 800,000.
But you are the capital city, and you have so many tourists to come around like me. But
actually, did you think about going to Lithuania or Estonia?
Yeah.
How did you choose specifically Latvia? Was it because of the easier travel?
No, I was in Estonia this morning. I just take the bus and come here.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Estonia was the first Baltic country you visited?
No, I see. I was in You don't think Serbia is a Baltic city?
Serbia? No.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean, Finland?
Finland. What do you think? Is
Well-
it Finland or Baltic?
No. The Baltic states are only 3:
Okay, yeah,
Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania.
yeah.
But
This is the kind of one.
countries around the Baltic Sea are many. Yeah.
Okay.
Finland, Sweden, Denmark, Poland, Germany. Yeah.
Okay.
They are.
Okay, this is my second one. And the day after tomorrow, I will go to Lithuania.
Slovenia.
Lithuania. Lithuania.
What?
Lithuanian. Here's Estonia.
Yeah. You will go to the south, to Lithuania, right?
Yeah, Lithuania.
All right.
Lithuania.
Yeah. Well, anyway, then you will have visited all 3 Baltic states: Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania.
Yeah, because I think if I study PhD program, maybe it will be kind of cheaper than many other Western European countries. But after I come here and I check out the living cost, it's not like what I think. It's not like what I thought.
You mean Riga?
Not only Riga and also Tallinn. Like I went to the supermarket, I see the shampoo is like a double price than in Berlin, and the food is not as what I thought. I think because like my host, she told me 1 month the minimum salary in Tallinn is like 400 euro, 500 euro, which means the living cost should also like 1/3 compared to Berlin, because Berlin the minimum salary is around 1,200 euro.
Really?
Yeah, so I just think maybe everything should be 1/3. So I check the price, like the double price than in Berlin. So I think the people will really have very hard life to live here.
But
yeah.
I think the real estate prices are bigger in Berlin.
Yeah, so normally the people can't afford to buy a house. They just could rent the apartment for their whole life, you know. They cannot afford it.
I think Berlin was cheap in several places, but then again expensive on other things. As far as so it depends what you need, right? Because maybe you could live quite good in Berlin, or maybe.
Oh yeah, real estate. Even you rent a place is expensive. I have a very small room. It's around 400 euro. Very small, like 1/3 of your room, like this room.
Yeah.
And.
But is it at least in a nice location?
Yeah, nice. The western center of Berlin.
Yeah.
And her place is, it's in the center, like in Tallinn, and it cost 150 euro.
See.
Oh.
So that's cheaper, right?
Yeah.
And what are you thinking right now that you might just study in the Baltic states?
I think I can choose Poland. Poland, everything is really cheap.
Yeah, the Polish have it pretty good. I think they do it the best.
They don't use euro. They use their own money. They use their own currency. And
have you checked out Finland? Because Finland would have free education, right?
Yeah, like Norway I went, Sweden I went, Denmark I went. They also have free education. I'm thinking about it. It's quite hard to...
When do you have to decide?
Like right now, I'm writing the proposal for the PhD program, and I'm just sending my application to the many universities, and I'm still waiting for the feedback. But right now, I'm writing my master's thesis, so I don't really care what they will send me back for the PhD program. At least
you do care. You do care. Otherwise, you wouldn't have sent it.
Yeah. I don't want to think about it because I'm traveling right now, and several days later, it's a time for me, to think about it. I prefer to live in Berlin, like to find a PhD program there, because I'm quite familiar with the education system, everything in Germany, and I have friends in Berlin, so I prefer to just live. Yeah. That's
what I wanted to ask you, because it seemed to me, Berlin would be the best fit.
Yeah, so I think about it. But Germany education takes very long time if you want to graduate.
What do you mean?
Normally...
I think the program is almost the same. 3 or 4 years, right?
For the master or for PhD?
Oh, also.
For master, yeah, maybe 3 or 4, but maybe PhD, the people take 5, take 6, take 7, take 8 years. Yeah,
But what's the reason?
It depends, because if you cannot really publish a paper like a really high standard, you just rewrite it until one day you reach the criteria, you reach the standards, they will let you pass exam and get the certification of PhD.
Would you like to be a professor?
Yeah, I want to be a teacher in China.
How come?
Why? Because my grandparents from my mom, they are professor and engineer in university in China. And my mom was a university teacher of advanced mathematics. So because I live with them, I can see they are very nice people. They have good salary and they are kind to the people.
Wait a second. Usually teachers don't have a good salary.
But if you are a teacher in the university, you can have good salary.
I think am I wrong? But I thought everybody who is working in either university or schools as a teacher or a professor in every country in the world, except maybe a few, don't earn much. Even in America.
Really?
I think $50,000 a year is good money for a professor in America.
Okay.
But it's ridiculous when it comes to high salary jobs, right? Because high salary jobs start with 100,000 in America.
Okay.
So it's not that you wouldn't be able to live.
Okay.
But it's sort of, you could be a truck driver and probably earn more.
But if you are teacher in university, you will not have so much pressure in China, because generally you do any kind of work every day you have to work more than 8 hours.
You mean as a teacher?
No, if you don't be as a teacher.
Why would you need to work more than 8 hours in other professions?
That's it.
What's the law and what's the normal
situation?
Yeah, what are the normal working hours per week in China? In Latvia it's 40 hours.
It should be 40 hours, but
no, it should be. Let's be honest, 16 hours maybe. That would be normal. That would be good. If you only would need to work, let's say 16 to 20 hours a week.
We have
that would be cool.
According to the law, we have to work 40 hours a week. But all the company, they need the staff to work longer to have a better result.
See, that's brutal capitalism. You need some more French people in China. They don't like that. They don't like exploitation by employers.
That's not only in China. In the eastern countries, like in Korea, in Japan, they also work for longer hours.
I think it's just a stereotype of the hard-working Asian people.
Because we have so many people. Like, if you don't work,
then
the people will replace you. You just go away.
Yeah, but that's the point. Just because simply because you have these many people, you could actually work less per one person, because you could do the same work with 2 or 3 people.
So what about salary? You should give more salary. Who will give the salary? We don't have more salary for us. I
think if you increase the productivity, you can pay everybody.
That's a future, but not right now. It's a future, not right now.
But that's why you are an environmental landscape designer, to build the future. Or architect.
That's just kind of beautify the environment.
It's a part of it. Let's hope so.
I don't think if you are working in the government and make the policy for the system, maybe that can help. But I'm not on that field, so I cannot help.
Yeah.
It's quite hard. So as an individual person, the best way is to get out of the country. Or you become a teacher in the university because you don't have so much pressure and you can have 2 vacation every year. Winter vacation, summer vacation, and then I can travel around.
Or you can have the third option, just import the culture from outside into China. Well, take the best examples of, let's say, Europe, and just import them.
Import
the culture.
How? Like, in what kind of like field?
In every field. Now, for instance, you will be going back someday into China.
Yeah.
Right? And you have been studying and living in Germany.
Yeah.
Now you bring that experience to China, right?
Yeah. So
and,
that's
and maybe you change a little bit because you have been.
That's
abroad.
why I need to be a teacher in the university. I can teach the next generation how they can be.
All right.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And you have 2 vacations.
Yeah, I can have 2 vacations. I can travel more, and when I learn new things, and then I go back to my university and teach my students.
But is it possible for a teacher to travel around freely? Maybe they prohibit teachers to travel.
No. China is a free country.
No. I mean, if you
not
are
like North Korea.
If you are a teacher, right?
Yeah, you also can travel.
Do they allow you to just go to America?
They want you to go. They maybe give you like a kind of a scholarship for you to go there to learn the advanced technology, or and give it back to the next generation. That's the Chinese government always have a website you can apply for that kind of scholarship.
Do you know how many Chinese emigrate?
Chinese immigrant
emigrate from the country.
Not too many, less than Polish people.
Because
I think Polish people immigrate more than Chinese people.
Because we in Latvia, some years ago, we had a really almost like a flood with Chinese people. Because Latvia offered the golden visas, which were, if you buy a property in Latvia, you can get a residence permit. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of Chinese people bought them.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Well, I just find it interesting that you have the option to earn so much money in China.
Yeah.
And you choose to go out of China.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. If you had the option of making so much money in China, why wouldn't you stay? Because you are making good money.
They still could earn good money in China. They still have their business in China, but they want to have a better environment to live, because here is less air pollution, less pressure. So they could have a manager in China to respond for all kinds of business for him, for her.
Up until the point that the manager decides, they are not around, I'll just take over. Right.
So it's hard to say. Maybe. But maybe they could.
That's a risk.
No, or you retired and your kid take your career.
All right, some of them, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like some of my friends.
Well, will
do
you take over your father's business?
Yeah, if I become a like a teacher in university, and meanwhile, because his company is a branch from Beijing, it's about environmental evaluation.
All right.
So I also will help him for the project, because I study environment science in my bachelor. So I can do 2 jobs. But let's see how his company is going. It's hard to say.
Well, you mean if the company will still be around?
Yeah, if it's going well, can earn more money than the job I do in the university, maybe I just replace him in the future. Or if not going well, I still could be a teacher in the university. So, or both are not good enough, so I do the both in the same time.
But honestly, I think you are the first one who said that I want to become a teacher.
Because my mom a teacher, because my grandparents are teacher, and they have very good personality, and they have good salary. So according to all these things, and they are kind of respectful. They are respected by other people.
Which people are not respected?
No, other people are respected, but no, in China it's not like that. In China, if you are a waiter, they will look down on you. They are not like European people. They always, if you are a teacher, they think, oh, you're a teacher, and they will thumbs up. Really, yeah. Chinese people not
because of education. Is it a prestige?
It's prestige. It is. You cannot say all the Chinese people have good education. They are not, or get a good education background. There are still many people maybe just have secondary school graduate, like a certification, or high school graduation certification. Not most of them are graduated from university.
And so they think it's very honorable if somebody has a higher education degree.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because in Latvia, I guess it's not really the case.
Yeah,
I would say for most of us, it's just that for many jobs, you need a diploma.
Yeah.
So people get a degree just because they feel they
like
they
in Germany,
need it.
they don't look down on the people. They are just kind of very equal, or it not depends on what you do, right? It's kind of equal, but in China it's not. We have hierarchy.
Yeah, but what does that mean? I mean, those people who are lower, they don't get humiliated, right? It's not like they are being maltreated. They're not being beaten, right?
They will not, but they will have hard life. The money is not in all kinds of ways. First of all, they cannot get enough money to support themselves. So secondly, every day they do the same things. So the mindset couldn't, like the spiritual world couldn't really get improved day after day. And as well, I don't know. I couldn't be a friend who is from factory, so I don't know what their life it is in China.
Sounds so snobbish.
But
it's totally, you sound like a total snob.
No.
I couldn't be friends with a factory worker.
No, just you cannot have a common topic, right?
I bet it's not that bad. I mean, you are Chinese. Start with that. You both would be Chinese. Start with the obvious things.
But you know what my parents, what they taught me when I was young, they said, if you
don't befriend factory workers and waitresses.
No. They said, if you don't work, if you don't study hard,
you will become
a waitress. You will become a waiter. You will work in the factory. That's what
wasn't the usual sentence to say, if you don't study hard, you will end up in jail. That should be a little bit more encouraging.
No, they think you will become a bad girl on the road, or you will become a waiter in the restaurant.
You mean bad girl as in prostitute? Bad girl on the road?
No,
what does that mean?
Beggar.
Beggar.
Yeah, beggar. Asking for the money.
Is it legal to beg?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know. They just think they don't want to get the money support from the government, because government sees a beggar. They always let them into a kind of place they could live together, and the government gives them money. But but they can earn more money as a beggar in China.
I found it funny that they
have a very good life, the beggars. So that's why they prefer to be as a beggar in China.
Well, but if they have a good life, then that's not a bad thing to say. If you don't study, you will end up a beggar.
But that's kind of my mom told me like that. So what she can say as well. So I kind of have the
See,
cliche.
Mom, I became a beggar and made more money.
Yeah, I had a prejudice before, but when I was in Germany, I also did some part-time job as a waiter, and I also worked like 1 month, oh, not 1 month, yeah, in like chocolate factory, somehow like Amazon, some like work. So I know the life is hard, and most students they do the job, so you cannot look down on them.
Mm.
Everybody just equal. And
But if you go back to China and say that you worked in a German factory,
I worked there as a waiter, I think I will be kind of very proud of me. I don't know, maybe because they know when you study abroad, you always have to support yourself.
oh well, yeah.
That's what the Chinese people always say from the American movie. Like the students who study abroad in America, they have to go to the Chinese restaurant in America like 3 times a week to wash the dishes. So, yeah,
That's not really true, is it?
I think it's true.
No, I think most if you talk about American students, most of them are being sponsored by their parents.
You mean Chinese?
Wait a second. I was saying you have films or you have real life examples where Chinese people go to study in America and then they support themselves by working jobs.
I think it's from film, not a real example.
Chinese film?
Chinese film.
Ah.
It's called Chinese American Dream. It get idea from American Dream. It's like a Chinese dream. Like
there are only 2 actors from China I know.
yeah, Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan.
Precisely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also don't watch many Chinese movie as well because they are not in good quality.
Funny enough,
But
China,
right now they have very good one. Recently I watched a very good animation with my German girlfriend. It's called The Big Fish. And Bergman or something. Right now is showing in Berlin film like a theater. It's quite good. They have very good quality right now.
Interestingly enough, Chinese sponsor American films. And then
They have already kind of constrict. They have already kind of control. They limit the film from America to China all the time.
No, you mean that they don't show the American films in China?
They show the American film in China, but they always limit it. Like if the movie is already showing in America, they will kind of delay the time showing in China, maybe 1 or 2 months later. They want to more Chinese movies could showing in China. That's how the Chinese film director and the makers could get money.
All right.
Yeah.
But what I meant was that Chinese, companies or Chinese government funds Hollywood movies. Then you see some Chinese elements mixed into Hollywood movies because they are being partly sponsored by China.
Really?
Yeah, I remember.
Kung Fu Panda. It's an animation.
Yeah, I know, but was that really sponsored by China?
I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't think so. But the one film it was so obvious was one of the last Transformers movies.
Oh, I didn't watch that one actually.
They even had dragons in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was really over the top Chinese. It was at one point in time. I don't know why. Either Optimus Prime or one of those main characters somehow got involved in some things in China, and then I don't know how many minutes everything took place in China. And then after a while, it turned out that some ancient robots were somehow trapped in some Chinese mountains. Okay. And then they freed them, and then the dragon just pulled off. Yeah, it was totally Chinese mythology all over the place.
I should watch that one later. After the broadcast.
It was the one with Mark Wahlberg.
Okay.
Because the first Transformers movies were with Shia LaBeouf, and then Mark Wahlberg took over, and I think it was either the last or the second to last movie from the Transformers franchise. Because now they have a new movie, Bumblebee, but I don't know about that. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, last time we had a chance to watch it, but with my girlfriend and another two Chinese couples, and they just choose a very stupid American movie by Marvel or DC. It's called Glass.
Glass?
Yeah, do you know that one?
Is it a new one?
It's a new one.
Haven't heard of it. What's it about?
It's about
I suppose some transparent material.
No.
Well, if you say glass.
Yeah, it's about a superhero.
All right.
There are three superhero, but they were diagnosed as a psycho. They are like have some mental disease.
Is it animated?
It's not.
Oh.
Just the people.
Ah, I think I know what you mean. The one with what's his name?
It's a very famous black man. Black. He's black.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, maybe. And another very strong guy.
And Bruce Willis.
Yeah. That's one. Yeah.
But wasn't it from the M. Shyamalan or something like that? From that director?
Maybe.
The film.
I didn't check all the information, but I think that one is really bad.
Bad?
Yeah, because three of them, they want to see the thriller.
No, because I think the movie is about 3 other movies.
Yeah. It is. So, it is. You're right.
Yeah, see? M. Night Shyamalan.
Huh.
And his last movie was Split. Which was, well, fairly interesting.
Yes, the Split may be interesting.
Because this one was the main character from Split.
Yeah. He
was from the old movie. I don't remember. I don't remember how it was called. But yeah, so they combined those characters in one film. And so you're saying this is a bad movie?
It is.
Really?
It's boring. You can check it out.
I guess so.
You should.
Because M. Night Shyamalan has some. I think all his movies are weird. They're not normal everyday movies. they always have some twists, some weird things happening. He's famous for that, the director.
Okay.
For those things. So why didn't you like the film, The Glass?
Because at the beginning, the 3 of them they want to see thriller.
You mean they want to see a movie together?
Yeah, we want to see together because at the beginning we want to go to an opera, but that day we want to watch a ballet, Russian ballet.
You with your friends wanted to see a ballet, all right? Yeah.
And then the ballet is already sold out, and then we plan to go to Magic Flute, the opera.
All right.
And then also we're kind of late, so finally we plan to watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to watch some thriller,
all right,
horrible movie. They want to be.
I don't know.
They kind of want to scared.
It is a thriller, yeah.
So the name called thriller, but actually the content is not a thriller at all. Just about superhero stuff. So they are very disappointed. But I'm kind of enjoying. But I don't like because it's not have so many high technology like superhero. Others I saw like. Revengers, Spider-Man.
Well, they don't have special effects that much, right?
They don't have just this. They could like to lift a trunk in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But look at it. They are pretty successful.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, but
to American people, but not for me.
Generally unfavorable reviews. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're not the only one.
Okay, yeah.
Who was disappointed?
Yeah, kind of. I prefer to watch that movie. The god has a trident, and he lives the undersea world. He has
Aquaman?
Maybe.
Are you talking about Aquaman?
Maybe that's the guy. Have a trident. It's like Poseidon.
Yeah.
That one. I'd like to say that day we have it, but they don't want, so we choose this one.
Yeah, but the Aquaman was also a little bit cheesy.
Okay. Okay, whatever. It's fine.
I mean, it was really it was almost like a family movie, right? For small children.
maybe when come to the sci-fi movie, I am just like a kid. I really enjoy to watch the very big effect in the theater.
Yeah.
Because it's big screen, very big speakers, then I can enjoy it well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, did we leave anything out in our conversation? I mean, we talked about China, we talked about you being in Latvia, we talked about you being in Germany, we even talked about you watching the film Glass. Did we leave anything out? What about your hobbies? You mentioned that you like to read.
Oh, I like swimming. I was a professional swimming athlete for over 10 years, and I joined many.
I call BS. You don't look like a swimmer. Because usually those swimmers I know, those are really, really tall, and they look like bright, so wide as closets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I think I have a good shape.
Or do you mean you were a distance swimmer? Or what kind of swimmer?
Just like 100 meter.
Yeah, so a distance swimmer. That's interesting. You totally don't look like a swimmer.
Really, I am. When I take off my clothes, you can see my chest and my abs. And then, yeah, because I wear clothes, you cannot see it.
Well,
actually, my shoulder is wider than the normal Chinese people for 3 centimeters. I can show you the picture later if you want to say.
Well, I believe you. I believe you. It's just that if you would take a regular Latvian swimmer, I think that they are sort of like this.
European people generally they are bigger. I mean, they're easier to build.
That's the stereotype that Asian people are the smallest, and the Dutch people are the tallest.
We're not the smallest, we're just the slimmest. We're just slim, but we're not small.
Well, I mean,
if you see the North Chinese people, you will see they are big. If you see the South Chinese people, they are small.
Really?
Yeah, because it's from ecology theory. I travel to South, I travel to North. I can see like from the North they are like 2 meter high, and from South they are like 160 centimeter or even shorter.
It's difficult to believe that you would have 2 meter long Chinese people.
Oh, we have. Do you know Yao Ming?
Well, but that's the exception.
If you watch the CBA,
I mean,
Chinese,
how many NBA players from China did you have?
We have CBA. Chinese people just generally don't good at basketball. Maybe you can say we have CBA.
What's the CBA?
Chinese
Basketball Association?
Yeah, basketball association. They are taller than you. Most of them. Asian people, I think according to the genetic reason, they are not should be good at this kind of sport. They are more good at play ping pong or.
Yeah, that's interesting that you guys play ping pong.
Yeah.
That seems like a totally boring sport.
Yeah, that you don't need to move so much. You just move your arm and speed up.
Don't get me wrong, it's impressive when they drill the ball in high speed. Yeah. It's really impressive, but then again, yeah, it's just ping pong. Well, it's not really
sport.
Well, I mean, it is definitely a sport. It's just that it looks impressive in a 1 minute video, but I wouldn't be interested in watching a whole hour of somebody playing ping pong.
Yeah, I didn't. I prefer watching swimming because it will over soon, like 1 minute as well.
Yeah.
And I like basketball as well. Yeah, it's cool, but I cannot play it well.
Basketball? Yeah. Well, I don't think that's old enough sport. Maybe somewhere in the future. Because you know what? I think it's more related to the fact that in Europe I think they consume more dairy products. I think that was the theory behind why Dutch people are so big, because they consume more dairy products, more cow's milk, more cheese, more stuff like that.
But in Asia,
I think they have more vegetables in their diet, right?
Huh.
Wasn't that the case? How many milk products do you consume?
Me,
Yeah.
I drink milk every day. I drink
Oh, really?
yogurt every day. I eat egg every day.
And since you are a child?
Yeah,
Not just when you came to Germany.
I eat the same thing basically as what I do in China. We
Oh.
drink milk because
Alright, then forget it. Then it's
because
just
I
God
was
working its
swimming.
magic.
Yeah. No, it's also because geological reason. They are in a kind of close to the North Pole, so
Alright.
they have a bigger size. Like
But I don't
you can
think
see,
that's- but I don't think
Estonian
it's true.
people, Latvian people, or Finnish
don't
people,
think that's-
Russian people, and Swedish, Norwegian people, they have a bigger size. They are taller.
But how tall are Eskimos?
I don't know.
Not very tall.
But-
as far as I know.
Okay. Yeah, and then you
But
see
they are
the people who
totally
live
north.
in the equator, they are just much smaller. They are shorter, close to the equator.
I see what you mean. But then again, wouldn't that mean that all the Indians would be small? Because they are only south of China, right?
No, some part, but they are small. You can say.
Well, technically, yeah. Many of them are small. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If they live in the north, they are bigger.
I guess so.
It's by a German ecologist. It's called a Bergman, and it's a theory from him
About what?
about the size of the people who live in the north, close to the North Pole and the South Pole. They have a bigger size. Close to the equator, the people's size are smaller.
And does that theory predict who will be taller and who will be smaller? But I mean, precisely predict? Because
Generally, average.
because I would guess there are tall people in the south as well,
Yeah,
right?
just like average.
Yeah. Well. All right.
It's true.
What do you mean?
The-
The theory?
Yeah.
Well,
Italian people, Greek people, are they as tall as the Dutch people? Are they as tall as the Latvia people? No, they are shorter.
I don't know. I think North Italians are the average size is similar to Germans.
The north. You should go south to see the south, far south, Greece, especially close to the Mediterranean Sea. That far. And Portugal.
You've been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
So, what's the average
They
size?
are taller. They're shorter.
Yeah.
They're smaller.
And what about Turkey?
Turkey? I haven't been. I cannot tell.
Because I think Turkish people are pretty regular.
Mm-hmm. I think it also depends on which part.
Well, anyway, I mean, yeah. In a sense, the tallest people I think were the Dutch, but the rest were somewhere in average.
Dutch are tall. Norwegian people are also tall. And the
I don't know, I don't
Latvia
know.
people are also tall, right?
Hmm?
The people from here are also very tall. I see.
Not very tall. No, not very tall. But I think the second tallest people were Icelandic people from Iceland.
Uh-huh.
No, I think in Reykjavik you have almost like the biggest people,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. But hey, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
People are people.
I will check it later.
Hmm?
I will check it later to see the rank of the height of all the nationality.
Yeah, well, we can just check upon it instantly. So, tallest countries? The world's tallest. So, where's number one? Netherlands,
Really?
Montenegro,
Oh.
Denmark, Norway, Serbia, Germany, Croatia, Czech Republic, Slovenia, Luxembourg. Well, there you go. The world's shortest: Indonesia, Bolivia, Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia, Nepal, Ecuador, Sri Lanka, Nigeria, Peru.
You can, yeah, okay.
Oh, well, here you have a map. So you are... Which one? This is China, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is China. Oh, almost in the middle. Almost in the middle, right?
Yeah, because you can see here the like equator, the people who close to here they are shorter, and close to the North Pole and South Pole they have bigger size.
Well, this one is even blank, so they don't have the data.
Yeah.
But I think tall people are living here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but these, yeah, Iceland, Norway, Netherlands, Spain. What about Spain? According to this, they are tall.
There are some exception.
They're tall.
Okay.
See, here you have the tallest.
Okay.
And look at Latvia.
We
Why?
also should think about the historical reason. If
For what?
they are mixed, right? They maybe because of a genetic reason. They also have other, like a migrant to live there.
Aren't Chinese people descendants from Japanese people?
Wait.
Aren't Chinese people actually just descendants from Japanese people? Descendants, like children's children from Japanese people.
No, you are totally see the wrong. Japanese people was Chinese people.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right.
They use Hanzi, Chinese character, Chinese alphabet.
All right.
South Korean people, they are also Chinese people. They don't have their own language.
All right.
They create their own language after there is a second king. They think about we shouldn't be conquered or governed by Chinese people anymore. We should create our character, our language. Then they have it. If you go to South Korea, go to Seoul, you will see it. And the Japanese people just use Chinese words. You can say it, and then they create more words. They were just Chinese.
But now they are totally separate, right?
They still can read Chinese character.
Really?
Korean people can read. Old generation and young Japanese people, they also can read Chinese, because they use a lot of Hanzi.
What's Hanzi?
Hanzi is Chinese character. What we use every day.
Also, Hanzi is the word for alphabet?
No. Hanzi is which like joy, right? The Chinese word. It consists of Hanzi. Like two Hanzi always make one word, and several Hanzi make a sentence.
So Hanzi is just a symbol.
Yeah, if one Hanzi is a symbol, but many hands get together, first
It's
they become a word,
a phrase.
and then it become a phrase and become a sentence. So, but it's really hard even for the Chinese people to learn Hanzi. So they have pinyin. We have 26 alphabet, and the 26 alphabet make pinyin.
What's a pinyin?
Pinyin is kind of way to tell you how to pronounce Hanzi. Here is Hanzi, and they have pinyin.
So the Hanzi is the symbol. The pinyin is the phonetic.
Yeah, phonetic.
Part.
Yeah, phonetic. But that's just the kind of assistant to you to how to pronounce Hanzi.
Yeah.
So the phonetic, we don't use that when we write article. When we just help the young kid, or if you want to check the dictionary how to read that Hanzi, we use the phonetic pinyin to help us. And that also help the foreigners to learn Hanzi.
Do you want actually foreigners to learn Chinese?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't the Chinese just learn English and all be good? I mean, you are speaking English,
but
it helps you, right?
Yeah, it helps me.
If you speak Chinese, you can communicate with 1.5 billion people. If you speak English, you can communicate with probably 6 billion people or 5 billion people. I don't know, but much more people, right?
Yeah. But why that couldn't be someday all the people all over the world just speak Chinese. That's the goal.
Because it's too difficult, man.
Oh yeah.
It's just too difficult.
Yeah.
That's true, right?
Yeah.
Chinese is a difficult language.
It's so hard. But for me, it's not. Yeah. Yeah, you are right. But it's good if all the people all over the world, you try to learn Chinese. You are kind of very proud. I'm always very proud when we hear some people talk about China and went to China and interest in Chinese culture thing. Because I think like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, China was always, in Western people's opinion, just a very poor, very undeveloped country. Not like right now, it's getting more and more powerful.
Well, but if you want to be proud, I mean, you just have to look at just a regular household. I mean, if you would like, you could probably check around here. Probably many things come from China, right? I mean, I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just that you are important to the world.
Yeah.
I think some of this comes from China or somewhere near China.
Yeah, when
sure.
I buy some souvenirs from here, from Spain, from Greece,
Let me just check.
and most of the things are just from China.
Yeah, made in China. This monitor. See? I mean, if you want to be proud, look, I'm looking at a.
But you know, in the past of time, when something is made in China, which means this product is a bad quality, right? But what about right now? You don't think so, right? Like I discussed with some friends from other countries.
Look at it this way: in certain product categories, I still would like to have German or some specific country, right? But for instance, when it comes to microphones, I would definitely prefer an Australian Rode against, I don't know, some generic brand from China, for sure. Because those are niche products, right? But if you speak about consumer products, yeah, I would say that the quality should be as good as everywhere else, I would guess, because the quality control is much higher than it was 20 years ago. I think many times Chinese factories produce with the same quality, just with cheaper labor and cheaper prices. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. But we had also, speaking about those Chinese who bought the residence permits in Latvia, we had some Chinese dude in our hometown, right? And he was praising the Chinese steel products and Chinese bicycles, and so he was actually quite surprised to see a Chinese a bicycle made in China for sale for a low price, right? And so he thought, oh, that's a really good bargain, right? But yeah, the bicycle just fell apart almost a couple of weeks after. Right, it's just that we don't, and he was surprised because he said that in China the bicycles are very good quality, right? But so we said it's not the same quality as in the export market.
No, I think in China they export some stuff in bad quality, and they also
but for the local
good
market,
quality, like stuffs to abroad, like. In Germany, there are also many stuffs made in China, but they are in very high price. Like Chinese family, normally they cannot afford it. That's why they don't just sell in China. But German people kind of rich, they could afford it. So all the quality actually are quite good.
What do you think about Huawei and all those mobile technology companies?
It's amazing. I've already seen the advertisement here in the old town, and also I can see that everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm proud of it.
But would you say that Chinese people usually try to use Chinese companies? Because I would imagine Samsung should be big in China.
No, I think really. I think Chinese
Samsung is all everywhere big. At least it seems so.
I think Chinese young people, they like iPhone.
Really?
Yeah, like
But is it the original iPhone or is it the copy iPhone?
the real, not copy.
Because I've heard China doesn't have any copyright law or intellectual property law, so they just make a total Apple store without Apple knowing. That's what I heard. That they sell Apple products, but Apple doesn't even know it. It's not an official Apple store. They just make one up.
They could just copy that, but just sell inside of China. But the system is still not stable. And in China, we have a technical term for it. We call it 山寨.
What's that?
山寨means a fake product from iPhone, from Gucci, from. So Chinese people just look down on it. Just think,
really?
Yeah, we're just kind of diss it. Or just think, what if you don't have money afford it? Why you just buy a fake one? We just think it's disgusting. So no people do that generally.
Yeah, but somebody has to buy them, otherwise they wouldn't sell it.
But they are kind of, but not in my case. Not in my friend's case, I think.
What kind of phone do you use?
I use iPhone. I use iPhone 4, iPhone 5, iPhone 6. Like just
Dude, it's already 10, right?
Yeah, but since I went abroad, I bought 6S Plus and I didn't update it anymore. I think it's quite working well. It's no meaning for me to get a new one. I didn't see a lot of updating from it. Yeah, so I think it's fine.
But other than that,
I like it. I like iPhone. I just quite used to it.
Better than Huawei?
No, I don't know. My dad, he has 2 phones of Huawei and he really like it. My mom used the iPhone before, but right now she just use Huawei. She think Huawei is kind of cheaper compared with iPhone and it has better quality and a better system. It's a very good one. And even the camera in a very high resolution. So why not?
Yeah. And what about Xiaomi?
Xiaomi is also good. Like my grandpa, he used Xiaomi.
So are there any brands that you don't like from China? Let's say if you would be a car driver from Germany, right? You would totally would be able to say, yeah, I don't like Opel, I like Mercedes, for instance. Right? Would you say something similar about any Chinese brands?
For phone?
Well, for whatever product. Mass market product. Because I don't know, China probably does produce cars, right?
Yeah.
But not, I don't know any Chinese cars. Oh no, I do. SsangYong.
What's SsangYong? I don't know what's SsangYong.
SsangYong is a car manufacturer. I think so. I think it was called SsangYong. Look. SsangYong.
We have
See?
Okay.
Damn.
That's Korean.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh damn.
We have Das Auto, Volkswagen.
Yeah, but that's not yours. That's German.
Chinese also bought something.
Wait a second. Do you mean that you bought
Chinese
Volkswagen?
bought some branch of the car company? But you maybe Chinese bought some car company from other countries. Like Volvo. Chinese company bought Volvo. Volvo, do you know?
Yeah.
VOLVE.
Oh yeah, that I do know. Yeah.
So how could you say is that a Chinese car brand or a Swedish car brand?
No. I mean, those are still European brands.
But the Chinese people own it.
But they don't. Yeah, but they don't provide the know-how. It's just that you are the owner. It's not the same. I mean, when you found the company and then you basically build the organization, then it's a Chinese company. If you just buy it, you buy it, right? I mean, you can be a Saudi Arabian sheikh right? Just buying up a lot of companies, but the companies won't become Saudi Arabian, right?
Yeah, think about the history. Like the car was invented in Europe, and we didn't have it. And
The
then
car, I think, wasn't it invented in America?
it was invented
Oh, technically
in
no.
Germany.
Yeah, right. Daimler.
in Germany,
Benz, yeah.
car Benz
Yeah.
somehow. And then in Europe and America, and we use a horse, right? The horse, right?
Yep.
And then the war comes. How could we really, in the First World War, Second World War, how could we really have a good time to really spend time
To be
on
honest,
that?
I don't know anything about China and world wars. I know about. No, really. I mean, if you think about it, every nation looks at wars from their perspective, right? So we basically know what happened in Europe. We know a little bit what happened in the Pacific. But other than that, we don't know. Well, at least I don't know anything about what happened in China, for instance.
What?
During the First World War or during the Second World War. I know what happened after the Second World War in China, right? Because then you had those basically civil wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, I think a war in Qingdao in the north along the coast.
Where the tall people live,
Okay.
right?
No. Do
No?
you think I'm tall? No, I'm tall. I'm not tall. I don't know. Just the city where I lived for 4 years when I studied. We were kind of colonial by the German people for around 10 years, from 1898 to 1990.
Okay.
Because German people lost the First World War, then Japanese people replaced them to take the control of that city.
All right.
And that's kind of the beginning of the war happened in China with other foreign countries, and also the north part of China also taken by the Russian people, close to Heilongjiang.
All right.
Yeah, far north, the province called Heilongjiang. And then Chinese people get the Qingdao, Shandong province back after 1923, because in 1990 there was a peaceful conference in Paris, and they have a Versailles Treaty. Because China was a winner of the First World War somehow, but we just were treated as a defeated country. Because as a winner, we should just directly get the Qingdao, Shandong province back to China, but we give it to Japanese people.
All right.
They take over. So that's not the case. So. But the Chinese government, they are kind of afraid of the Europe, of the Japanese people. They just afraid the government, because they are working in the government. They just want to still in that position, get good salary. So they just don't anything. They just think, if the Japanese people still help me to keep my position, you just do whatever you want to do. But Chinese people, they don't think that's the right thing. They think, why? Then there are kind of strikes happen in China. Students, they don't go to school. They say, give us this Shandong back to China, and the businessmen, they also do strike, and also the workers, they also do strike. And finally, this kind of movement, the Chinese people win the movement. So then the government negotiate with the Japanese government and other government, and finally we get our province back. And we built a monument in Qingdao to memorize that movement. We call the landmark in that part Mayflower. And every year in the 4th of May is a Memorial Day.
4th of May?
Yeah, 4th of May. It's like the first time for the Chinese people as a students and businessmen and workers, they get a kind of movement. So, and
that's for the First World War, right?
Yeah, after First World War, it's around 1990 to 1923, and we also have a war between China and British. Opium.
Opium wars. But that was more related to Hong Kong, right? To the port cities.
Yeah, to the several port cities, because we export a lot of tea, and even we earn much more money than the British people did. So they think about what we could give back to China. They sell opium.
Which is quite interesting that 100 years ago Chinese people used different drugs. Nowadays they don't, right? That's punishable.
Yeah. Punished.
But think about it this way: all the long traditional Chinese culture and history is probably related to also that use of opiates.
Really?
Well, to drugs, to psychoactive substances is what I'm saying. Because many times a lot of literature and writings and historic monuments are related to people just using recreational drugs. That's always the case. I mean, all over the world, you can find those people who use some substances and then they get inspired to write, to compose, to do some artistic work, and then that builds the culture.
Oh, but I think maybe we suffered a lot during the opium that period. That's why the Chinese government just think all the drugs are very bad, so they don't allow the people generally use it.
So what do you think about nowadays when America legalizes weed?
It's just do whatever they want. But I think Chinese people generally they cannot stand it. They cannot.
I think weed originated in Asia. I think weed originated in Asia.
Okay.
So I think you Chinese people are built for smoking cannabis.
No.
I honestly think genetically, I think genetically you are better equipped at using those kinds of substances.
No, I don't.
Because they originate from all of the big substances originate from Asia.
Okay, but I never think about it. It's not good for the health, I think.
Well,
if you're addicted.
Depends what you consider helpful or not. I mean, you can have, in a way, healthy people being also not really healthy, right? So.
If my mom know I take marijuana, and she will think, he's a very bad kid.
Well, I get the sentiment, but if it would be 100 years earlier, your mother wouldn't say anything about it, right? Right?
You mean before the opium war?
Yeah. 100 years ago.
Yeah.
I think you could just use it and nobody would care.
Then then I will not have any money. I will just my home will give all the money to buy the opium, and my family will have nothing, and I will become very weak. And then I will die. The opium is like that because I went to the opium museum in China.
Too much opium is like that, but it's not that everybody who used it started to just become lazy. It's just not happening. some of the people always are lazy, whether or not they use alcohol or whether or not they use something else. Some of the people are lazy, but some of the people are not.
I think because we suffer a lot because of opium, because that was the beginning of the modern history of China. So we really think the drug stuff is really bad.
What are actually the most common or most popular addictions in China?
Marijuana?
Really?
Yeah.
What
And then cocaine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But cocaine is expensive.
It's expensive. That's why there are a lot of smokers, and they import from other countries.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but then I think in Australia kind of legalized
What?
some drugs. I don't know which one. And the
Maybe cannabis. Maybe.
and then Chinese people were hired, especially the students. They are hired. They could take that cannabis and back to China, but they didn't know what they will bring back to China because they have 2 suitcases, and someone said, you just help me to take 2 suitcases back to China and I will give you like $100,000.
Sounds good.
Then they do it, and when they went to the custom and they find it, it's drugs.
Yeah.
And then they sent to the jail. The Chinese students who study in Australia, they maybe will be punished and somehow will be killed. I don't know. So my father, he always send me some information like that. Don't take any like the suitcase to get benefit from them. Otherwise, you maybe will sent to the jail and maybe die.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. You know, I noticed that you have a cross.
Yeah, that's a cross.
How come?
I just went to the church in Tallinn yesterday and I like it, so I bought it.
Oh, so it's not really for you as a religious man. It's just for.
No, I'm a religious man. I was quite into Buddhism because my mom somehow is a Buddhist, and I was baptized in Germany, so I'm a Protestant. But as you know,
amazing. Why were you baptized?
Me, because the
your
people
parents,
in the
your parents baptized you, or
no,
yourself?
My mom is a Buddhist. How could she baptize me? Because when I was in school in Germany, they always have a community. They always help the students there. They make the food for the students, especially new students. They are very kind, and after you eat the food, you always watch a video about the praise about the Bible together, and they give the lecture. And then just after 1 or 2 years, maybe I was kind of touched or moved by their the behavior. So I think I could baptize. I don't think about the deep meaning of it because somehow I really think the religion stuff, they were kind of, because they don't know what is really going on behind the science, like the natural phenomenon. If you know science well, you can explain everything, but a long time ago they don't know anything, so they just create the mythology, also religion. So that's what I think. I was baptized because they are so nice, they are so generous. Why I couldn't be baptized because of their behavior? Even I don't believe all the religion stuff.
That's a funny story, man.
Yeah, I think because I cannot really believe in all what's said in Bible. I can believe in some, like to be a good person and to. Yeah, I cannot believe in some part because it's like not logical. But I think religion can help you to be a better person.
Well, it sort of disciplines some people.
Yeah, that's true. It can guide you to be better.
Yeah.
So it's fine. I'm kind of proud of I'm baptized. It's cool. It's cool.
And so that is basically just a souvenir for you.
It's just a souvenir because like a Protestant, they don't wear the cross. So for me, it's just like decoration.
Why do Protestants do not wear the cross? I'm not aware.
Because after like Martin Luther, and he kind of simplified all the rules.
Sort of.
Yeah. So if you don't need have any idol, you don't need to have a statue of a Christ.
Oh,
you don't need to
that
have a
might be
cross.
case. Yeah.
So you just be there. That's all. Just simplify everything. So we don't need any cross.
I get it. Yeah. Well, then look at you. A Chinese dude coming to Europe and getting baptized.
I think many people did the same. Just you
You
don't
mean
know.
from China?
Yeah. And
That would be.
and in China we have a lot of Christian. Let me think about.
You have a lot of everything.
Yeah, like you have 200 million people. So how many Christian we have in China? Let me think about. 50 times than all the Latvia people, right? Oh, in the Riga you have 2 million.
No, Latvia.
Latvia, so we have 50 times Christian people than the whole population in
You
Latvia
mean you have 100 million people?
are Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you not shocked?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Are you not shocked? Okay.
I would be shocked if we have more than 1,000 Buddhists in Latvia.
Okay.
That would be surprising because I don't know anything about Buddhism. I just know that it's more or less without any restrictions, right? Buddhism is supposed to be not materialistic. Can you explain Buddhism to me in a couple of minutes?
Buddhism original from from Nepal and India. That was an Indian princess. His mom was dream. In the dream, she found there is an elephant with 6 ivory.
All right.
And the elephant was dancing around her, and then the elephant jumped into her arm. Then the second day, she got pregnant. So it's kind of like a metaphor of her kid will be a king or become a philosopher or influence the world. And then the kid come to the world, and before he was 18, he was raised in the palace. She never see any people die. She never see what is starving. So, but after 18, she had a time once traveling around, and she see the people are starving.
You mean he, right?
He. The people are starving, and they also will die, and they always suffer the Lord, and they have the robbery, they have thieves, the people. He wants to help the whole all the people.
Yeah.
So then he started a way to find what I could do to save all the lives. Then finally he did some meditation under a tree, a linden tree, and then he become a Buddha. Yeah, that's the story.
I was a little bit surprised to find out that Buddha was a slim Buddha, right? But there's another Buddha that's a fat Buddha.
Yeah.
But then it's not a real Buddha, right? It's just some fat Buddha.
No. He is also a very important Buddha in Chinese Buddhism.
But that's not the same Buddha.
Not the same. This
confusing.
Buddha, I'm talking about.
You are talking about the real Buddha, right?
All of them. We have so many Buddhas. They're just a cultural difference in just like the God.
But the originator of Buddhism is just one Buddha.
No, we have many Buddha.
That's totally confusing, man. I thought the prince who saw the suffering, and sort of went away from his great palace, right, was the Buddha.
Oh yeah.
He's the Buddha.
He is the first Buddha. He just the first, but then
There's too many Buddhas then.
yeah, because in the Buddhism idea, everybody could become Buddha. Like in Europe, you cannot say everybody can become God.
So wait a second, was it related to the Dalai Lama?
Dalai Lama?
Yeah.
Dalai Lama.
Because Dalai Lama was the reincarnation of something, right?
Yeah, he no, no. I don't think he's kind of like a leaf Buddha in Tibet, but we're talking about the Buddhism idea or the history. There is kind of divided.
Yeah, but when you say there are many Buddhas, why are there many Buddhas? If the story has one Buddha,
yeah.
When do the other Buddhas appear? The story has only the prince, the Buddha.
Yeah.
Right. So when do the other Buddhas appear?
Later than him.
Are those children?
No, just other people who believe in the Buddhism, and
in the one prince.
Yeah. His name is like a Muni.
What's that?
His name.
And what's the Buddha then?
Huh?
I thought his name was Buddha.
No, his name is Muni.
And what does Buddha then mean?
Buddha is a general name of the Buddha. Like you can call Zeus. Do you know Zeus?
Yeah.
Is a god.
Yeah.
So Buddha is like a god, and Zeus is like Muni.
Oh man, really?
Yeah.
So the word Buddha just means God?
Yeah.
Not a particular God.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we have so many Buddhas, and you see the fat one, he is control of the past, and who was a prince, he is control the present. And we also have another important Buddha. He is control the future. So
is he slim?
Yeah, that one is slim as well. But actually, that's a different cultural thing, because it was original from Nepal and from India. So the God the Buddha you never could say how they really look like. They always just from what's the thing you say, you always say they can look like you, right?
What's the Bible of Buddhism?
Buddhism.
Yeah, but Muslims have the Torah. No,
yeah.
No.
Quran.
Not the Torah, but
it's called Quran.
Quran, yeah, Quran. Right.
And the Christian have Bible.
Yeah.
And Chinese people we have Buddhism. I don't know how to
but
translate it.
What is the
forging? Text is about.
What is the Buddhist Bible?
It's just called forging.
And what's that?
Like now Amitofo is kind of a lot of I don't know, it's curse or something.
Curse?
Not curse, just a lot of
folklore.
When the witch they want to have a magic, they
right.
always say something.
All right.
Yeah. So in the Buddhist
spells.
Books, yeah, they also should have some spells, or just to talk about it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. We don't only have one book. We have many books.
About the same topic?
Yeah, about Buddhism.
Yeah, but but you know what I mean when I ask you what is the original text for Buddhism?
It should be forging.
All right, and who wrote them?
Muni.
Who's that?
Who was a prince?
Oh, that is the slim Buddha.
Yeah. The fat Buddha, if he is in India, he is also a slim Buddha. But in the Tang Dynasty,
right.
That was a cultural influence, because in Tang Dynasty of China, they think fat is the most beautiful body. So
why is that? Why is that?
They just think.
Do you like also?
Just in Tang Dynasty, it's like 1,000 or 2,000 years ago.
I get it.
That's why even the past Buddha, he was slim, but after that period, he become a fat Buddha.
Mm.
And the Chinese people just keep it until right now because they think if the Buddha is fat, it's kind of symbolize of happiness and good life.
It's called the smiling Buddha, right?
In Chinese, yeah, maybe. But in Chinese, we call it 弥勒, 弥勒佛. But in 弥勒, it's not mean smiling.
What does it mean?
I never think about it.
Well, what would you say now that you think about it?
I should check the dictionary and get the... Yeah.
But does it mean like happy?
Should I check right now?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Huh.
Doesn't look promising.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's kind of a translation directly from Indian old language. But it means merciful.
Ah, yeah, sounds reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a merciful Buddha. Oh, you asking me so many questions. I didn't think about it. It's quite interesting. Huh, cool.
Should we wrap it up? So it's been more than 2 hours.
Yeah, it's
Starting to feel that I need to go already to bed.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
All right. So any last thoughts about you being in Latvia?
Lots of
Yes. No. Maybe.
I don't know. The people looks cool.
You maybe will be doing your PhD. Maybe, right? In
Yeah.
Latvia.
Latvia? I think I will.
Well, you will try to get to Berlin,
Yeah.
but you said that you also look for
Somewhere.
Latvian, right?
I didn't apply here, but I think maybe I will apply in Poland because it's cheaper and close to Berlin.
Yeah, the way you said it was funny. Closer.
That's my way.
Yeah.
I'm always like an idiot. The Chinese people also laugh about me. Have you seen any other Chinese people? Yeah, of course. Did you host? You host. I see one guy who studied music in Denmark. What else? Just him?
No. Many people.
Many people from China.
But I mean, you are so many. You are not really alike. Well, as a personality.
I think everyone is in like different.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you are a small country, then usually there are many similarities.
Oh yeah.
But if a big country,
Yeah. We're from different
not that
parts.
much. Yeah, not
Yeah.
that much. So yeah. Well, anyway, thank you for the podcast.
Thank you for the host.
Maybe see you around in Latvia one more time somewhere in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, man.
Thank you.